Alrighty, welcome everyone. I'm Teeaboo, and I am here, finally, for more Legend of the Galactic Heroes. It has been way too long. I'm really sorry. Yeah. This is episode 64. Last time, on episode 63, the Earth Cult's main headquarters was exploded, and like a giant section of the Himalayas just collapsed in on it, which was pretty cool. Julian and friends got out, except for that one dude who I still don't remember, who's not doing so well. He's kind of dead. I think that they worked with the Imperial forces, so they might get a trip to, I don't know, like Fazan or something from the Empire. We'll see. So they're all good. Yang is, I think he was heading into orbit or out of Heinessen when we last saw him. We'll have to see where this episode is focused. I don't want to talk too much. I just want to get right into it. So there will be multiple versions of this video. I'm doing them as like timer and picture-in-picture now. So timer-based version with full discussion on YouTube, picture-in-picture version with just the video portion on BitChute and Mega. You can go and find links in the description. Okay. The YouTube timer version will have a beep beep timer. It'll go boop 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 beep, and on the beep and the green light, that is the same frame that the video starts playing on my screen. So if you're playing along, that's probably when you want to hit the button. Beep beep timer goes here. Earth. Hey, buddy. Hard facts. Interesting. Bring your knowledge here. Yes, they are. Yeah, Julian's an interesting one. Okay, so they're hanging out with Empire peeps. Wait, is that? Yeah. So, who are you exactly? How about a ride back to the Alliance? Perfect. Uh. Uh. That would be really interesting. That's really interesting. Yeah. Hey, Yulian, what the fuck? Yeah, but a cool one. Exactly. Exactly. Something like that. Are we skipping ahead to their arrival? That would be cool. Okay, just news arriving. Okay, okay, okay. Interesting. He's got a nice cape now. Oh? Okay. Okay. Might be too late. Oberstein doesn't like this. Not one bit. He's got a cape too. Wasn't he plotting with Landenkampf? Or using him? Not worth, bro. Hmm. Interesting that we're talking about dignity, nobility, the image of the Reich. Ah, been waiting for him to speak. So what would you recommend? Hmm. Harumph harumph. Interesting. Well, that's not gonna come back and bite anybody. Deal with it. Hmm. Yet. Wonder what Lang is playing at. Hey, buddy, you got some hair growing there. Hey, not Kirchheis. No, just delegate. Oh, okay. Okay. Hmm. They're still operating under the assumption that Len-Count is alive. That's a problem. Interesting. Interesting. Second guessing himself. It's probably got something of value on it. I don't think they're done yet. Yeah. What's in this? Oh, okay. It's this supply base. Cool, 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 cool. Robin Hood. Hmm. Okay. To lead Young away from the war. Hey! Katarose. Katarose? I don't know. Shenkop's on board that ship, isn't he? No, wait, he's with... Wait, where is he? Yeah, he is aboard that ship. He's with Yang. Hmm. Nah. Something like that. Why do I get the feeling that Shenkop is gonna die just from this setup? Like, not soon. Hmm. Yeah, and they're gonna force your hand soon. But what choice did you have? Oh? Oh. He's thinking. He's just thinking. Charging his brain. Also preparing for battle. Hmm. Right. Okay. Okay. Okay, we've got a date. Hmm. They've come to the same conclusion. It's quite possible. Permanent. Okay. That's a big move. And that stuff's... Hmm. Uh-huh. Yeah, it's a problem. Yes. There. Okay. What? Uh, what? How's that gonna work? I have a feeling nobody's gonna stand for that. Is that Yang's work or no? Oh, that's super interesting. Okay. Cool episode. This is pretty much my favorite kind of Ginga episode where we're mostly focused on the political stuff. Uh this was a great one. This was a great one. So we covered 3 fronts, which I did not expect. We wrapped up the Earth cult thing with a really interesting conversation between these two. I think this is Konev, right? The blonde guy. Actually really don't remember. I believe that's Konev. I'm gonna call him Konev, and just that's who I'm talking about, and I might be wrong. So this sentiment that he talks about here, that there's nothing cheaper than the lives of the faithful in a religion, and then that is similar to the way that politicians see their populace and the way that dictators see their soldiers. Emperors, sorry, not dictators, emperors view their soldiers. This is interesting because it sort of ties the Earth cult's drug thing that they were doing, brainwashing thing, into democratic brainwashing and nobility empire type brainwashing stuff. Very interesting stuff here, and again, bringing up the lack of value of normal human lives in the minds of people above them, depending on power structures. I think that's really really intriguing. Um, yeah, and Yang is an interesting person because he knows the problem of being a soldier. He knows it sucks, and so he respects his soldiers. Then he specifically asks Yulian to assist in critiquing the military. This is really interesting because I see something building here, and it's really intriguing to me. And this whole thing, asking for a trip to Odin with them, is also very interesting. I wonder if they'll get there before or after the big move happens. Wakaranai. I just don't know. Because if they go after, then it might be less interesting. But then their destination is Fazan, and that will be the new capital, which is also interesting. But the really interesting, how many times am I going to say interesting in this video? Jesus. The really interesting thing is that Yulian is following the path that I'm hoping that he follows, which is that he takes his backlog of knowledge from Yang and then interacts with other stuff outside of the Alliance and other methods of government, other mindsets and points of view, and incorporates them. And this actually, I was reading up on something yesterday, I think, about the tripartite dialectic, often misnomered or misnamed the Hegelian dialectic because he never actually calls it that. But the three-part dialectic, which is thesis, reaction, sublimation? No. Synthesis. Right? I've got that right? I don't want to spread misinformation, so let me just goggleify it. Yeah. Presented in threefold manner: thesis giving rise to a reaction and antithesis, and then that being resolved by means of a synthesis. Right. So the basic idea, as I understand it, I'm not very well versed in this, is that you come up with a thesis for something like democracy is a stable form of government, or a good form of government, whatever. And then you have a reaction to that, which is like, yeah, but it gets corrupt and fucked up. And then from the interaction and debate between the thesis and the reaction, you can come to something much closer to the truth by incorporating aspects of both of them. I think in the case of Legend of the Galactic Heroes, it's the other way around. It's that there's this dictatorship, and then there's this cycle of reaction synthesis that keeps occurring. So Heinesen leaving was one reaction to the Empire's problems. The Empire's thesis is like, Empires work. Something like that, whatever. An empire is an effective form of government. Heinesen's reaction to that, or his antithesis, is like, no, they don't. This shit sucks. Let's get out of here and form a democracy. And there are a lot of layers of this process to it. But in this case, what we've got is Reinhardt's democracy and Reinhardt's dictatorship and Yang's democracy as sort of thesis and antithesis of each other, and Yulian appears to be the embodiment of synthesis. That's just what I'm feeling and hoping. Like neither of the two are perfect, or and both stray pretty far from the mark of what we would consider like a stable, functioning, effective form of government. So the empire, the autocracy has its problems, even with a great leader in charge. And one of the bigger problems is that he's not going to have an heir who can like hold up, because Reinhardt is like a once every couple hundred years type of guy. And then the democracy has its massive share of problems. It does some things much better than the autocracy, and some things much worse. But Yulian is in this really interesting position where he comes from like the background of the democracy, but he's been heavily influenced by someone who has his own problems with democracy and his own problems with war. So he's got all of that in the back of his mind, and it's a strong influence on his perspectives on everything. Yang's teachings are a huge influence on him. And he's clearly intelligent, very talented, very capable, and now he's going around and experiencing other things. And I feel like he's going to be able to figure out a way to incorporate the truths that he learns outside of his comfy home democracy to create something better. I don't know if that's actually going to happen, but that's what I feel like we're building to. And if it does, then that's really cool. I like it a lot. Anyway, so they're going to Odin. We'll see when they end up arriving in Odin. I don't know. Then we use that to transition into Odin, and there's all this backlash and interesting stuff with admirals sitting around talking about stuff, and there is serious tension between Royenthal and Oberstein, like big problems. And then Lang being here, like I don't know why he's here, but Royenthal does not like it, not at all. And Lang takes this real personally. And I get the feeling he was the guy who was like head of secret police previously, right? He's kind of a slimy bastard. I get the feeling that he is going to try to pull something on Royenthal. Like he seems like the kind of guy to hold a grudge, big time. And he entreats Oberstein. Yes, this is really cool. So, Emil comes out with this pretty reasonable statement, like, if you work too hard, you're gonna die young. The strong flame burns out quicker. And Reinhardt's response to this in his head is fantastic. I really love it. What's frightening isn't dying quickly, it's dying without completing what I need to do. Reinhardt is a goal-driven person, and his greatest fear is not destroying himself, it's destroying himself before he completes his goals, before he checks the boxes. That's pretty cool. I like it. Smoldering away without accomplishing my goals. Then he brings up this idea of a family again. I don't know when that'll happen, but he and Hilda? He and Hilda need to get together for real. This reaction from Reinhardt is pretty interesting. Oberstein keeps towing the line. He keeps just pushing a little bit too hard. Could really blow up soon. And then Reinhardt, he what did I call it before? It's the right word. Think it, but not double cross. Doubt. Shit, I don't remember. He is doubting himself and whether he is just a bloodthirsty bastard. And then he reaffirms that he's not, and we see Kircheis reappear next to him, which is nice. So they are setting sail. We've got the disc. And then we transition into Yang, or not Yang. Yang is heading here, so we're setting up the state of affairs for Merkatz, who has two things that he wants to do. Wants to pull Yang away from the war. Interesting. Didn't really expect that. And he wants to find the young Kaiser, the young little bastard. Then we go to Kataros and use her to transition into Shenkop and others chatting on the bridge. This is pretty interesting because they're having a similar conversation to the one that they had before while Yang was captured, and Yang is just sitting with his hat over, thinking about stuff. And he's thinking about when they should announce Lennenkampf's demise, and I'm feeling like their hands might be forced on that, because of what the people in the Reich are talking about, as far as like trying to hold out a sort of an olive branch to Yang, in exchange for releasing Lennenkampf. That's not going to happen because he's dead. Yikes. And then Yang is also, what's that word? Self-doubt. Double. Damn it, I don't remember. Guess? Second guess. Oh my god. He's also second guessing his previous decisions to, specifically to leave Big Fortress. Name just poofed. think I just saw it. Iserloan. Okay. Yeah, he's second guessing his decision to do that, but I don't think he really had a choice at the time. So there's no real point in crying over spilt milk there. It is unfortunate, but Shogunai. And then this idea of sending Boris Konev home and gaining the cooperation of the independent merchants, that might be difficult with Reinhard moving in to Fazan. And we've got the letter. Hilda also second guesses Reinhard in her own head. And then there's this. Mittermeier's real mad. And they present this idea that Oberstein might be a dangerous force within Reinhard's government, which is true, and I think accurate. And I think that he does need to be dealt with, but in the process of dealing with him, it's probably going to upset more things than he would on his own. We'll see. And then a planet. Elfasiel declares independence. The fuck? What? This is out of nowhere. Like, all we know about Elfasiel is that Yang was there, and Yang saved a bunch of people. Who's leading this? Whose idea is this? And how is it going to work? And is it going to spur the Reich to come down with an iron glove? Like, weird. Interesting. Okay. Cool episode. Lots of politics. Lots of different things covered. Really interesting stuff. I will try to get out the next episode much sooner than this one because it's been super long. Yeah, if you like this video, go ahead and do that. If you're not subbed and you want more, maybe do that. And if you are subbed and you're not getting my videos, perhaps the bell can help you. If you really like this content or want 7-ish more Legend of Galactic Heroes, you can get them on Patreon. Alright. I've been Teeaboo. This has been Legend of Galactic Heroes, episode 64. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have. And as always, I hope to catch you next week in the next one. Peace.